Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our platform, Relationship Matters. Relationship Matter is our platform where we discuss everything to do with relationship, everything to do most especially with marriages. Now, as we always say that for any marriage to be successful, we have three golden rules, which we always remind to everyone every time we come online. The first one is for any marriage to be successful, remember, is to work hard on your marriage. So a successful marriage required hard work. How much you work hard on your marriage because this is your goal. Don't destroy it. Don't allow anything to come and destroy your marriage. So if you work hard on your marriage, you will have a successful marriage. The second golden rule is the success of a marriage depends on you working on yourself to be the right person for your partner, for your spouse. And the third golden rule is a successful marriage, as we always say, depends on you learning to know, to understand, and eventually to love the person that God has given to you. So these are the three golden rules we always remind every time. Now, we have been dealing on the issues of the habits that we do that can destroy our marriages. There are some habits, some way of living, the way we live that can have a negative impact in our marriages. So last week we started with the thing that women do, the habits that the women do that can destroy their marriage. And we started part A. Today we continue to part B. So the second part, we want to explore again the things that women do, some habits that women do that can have a negative impact in their marriages. Now, remember in the marriage, you are two people, husband and wife. So women have to play a major part, just as men also play a major part for the two of them to work happily, to live happily together. But some habit can be very detrimental. Some habit that if we keep on doing those things, what they do, they can affect our feelings. And when the feelings are affected, it can eventually affect love. When love is destroyed, it will become difficult for two people to cohabitate, to live together. That's why we highlight those habits so that you can know them and you try as much as you can to avoid using those habits, to avoid living that way. That is a preventive measure. So prevention is better than cure. Now, what are those habits that women do? We spoke about some of them last time. Today we continue. Now, the one we want to talk today is the first part is concerning the habit that can undermine your husband's authority. Okay? One is what you do that can undermine your husband's authority. Another thing is what you do that can really demoralize your husband, and the habit that we can do that can more or less destroy your husband's confidence. Those are the things that if the woman keep on doing those things, she may think she's not hurting, but actually she's hurting your husband's feelings towards you. If you keep on doing those things, it'll be difficult for that your husband to respond to you, and it will eventually affect the love that he has towards you. So the first thing is the habit that when a woman is disrespecting the husband opinion, the husband advices, the husband insight, that will undermine his authority. Now I explain to you what happened. You know, husband, men and women, they're different. Women lack talking. When a woman comes, lack talking through certain things, we have to talk. But we men usually we come with a plan. So if the wife come and tell you something, you listen. You say, okay, what is the problem? This is the problem. Okay, how can we solve it? So you go straight to the solution, to the plan. So as a woman, remember when you bring a problem to your husband, expect your husband to give you a kind of a plan, a kind of a solution to solve the problem. It may not be the right solution you have been expecting, but it is very important that you take his advice on board. It's very important that you take his opinion on board. Don't disregard it. Don't just say, okay, all right, fine, that's not good. No, if you keep on doing that, you are simply telling him that his opinion does not really matter to you. Where, what can you tell me now? I know it all. So then why did you come to him in the first place? Whereas it's very important that when you bring a problem to him, listen to his opinion, thank him for the opinion, thank him for the solution that he has provided, then walk through it before you can disregard it. If it's happened once, twice, be careful. Your husband may not talk, but you hurt him. He said, but you brought something to me. I have given you a solution. You are not taking it on board. You just disregard it. It will hurt your husband. In the long run, believe you me, your husband, you begin to hurt his feeling. You begin to hurt his thought towards you. And if you keep on doing that, it can only bring resentment, friction in that marriage. So try not to undermine his opinion. Try not to disregard his advices or his insight, but rather politely, respectfully, try to go through it and try to thank him for what the plan that they are bringing to you. Okay. The second thing that a woman can do to undermine the husband's authority is, like in any organization, there are always one leader. Your husband is the leader of the house. Whether it's an African marriage or European marriage, American marriage, or a Muslim marriage, any marriage in any society, men are always the head. Therefore, don't take any decision in the house without your husband input, without your husband having a final say. Because when thing goes wrong, you always come back to the husband. So many women don't know that. Many women they try to do things on their own. When you begin to compete with your husband, that can only bring one thing. I'll bring resentment. That can only bring friction. That can only bring division in the house. When your husband says something A, you are saying B. When your husband is trying to correct, you are raising your voice because that can never ever bring peace in the house. So therefore, I would say, don't undermine his authority, but rather come to him, right? Come to him, make your decision with his input. Bring a problem to him, or both of you sit down, go through the problem, then ask him what is his opinion, what is his final say about it. That gives the man his manship, his leadership, his authority. But when you take that away from him, that your husband will be hurt. That your husband will look at you that my wife is competing with me. My wife is wearing the trousers like I'm wearing. People say that. That means that you are trying to stand up to him. Don't do that. He may not talk, but in his heart is bitter. In his heart is very hurt. When he goes maybe somewhere talk, he say, "Well, my wife, this is the way she behave. She does things without even asking me. Sometimes she does something I don't even know. When I come, she already done it." You see, when you undermine his authority, it becomes very, very difficult. It can only bring resentment, I say, friction, division in the house, and avoid. And many women do that. And I have a lot of testimony like that when women try to do things on their own without consulting their husband. If it's an unmarried woman, yes, she's alone. She takes decision for her own life. But when you're a married woman, remember you have a cover above you, which is your husband. So don't do anything without asking his opinion. No, no, don't do that. If you do that, in the long run, it can only bring problem in that marriage. Another thing also, many women do without understanding that they are actually demoralizing their husband is the fact that some women they don't like accepting their fault. Okay, they do something, they don't accept their fault. They think they're always right. They think that where is always the husband. Sometimes they even label the husband that he's not caring, he's heartless, he doesn't take time, he's always like that. When you say things like that to your husband, the husband that you married, the husband that is living with you, it hurt your husband's heart. If you keep on doing that, it will affect the feeling that he has towards you. Sometimes they might, because men don't talk too much, but when you don't accept your fault, you don't accept everything that you are doing wrong. All the fault comes on the husband. The shortcoming in the house is the husband. Problem goes with the children is always the husband. So you label him as he's a failure, as he's not caring, or he's not taking time to take care of the house, things like that. When it's not true. When you are doing that, you are hurting his feelings towards you. It's a habit that I advise you as a woman, don't cultivate that habit. Rather, don't magnify the small mistake or the flaws. Don't magnify those things. But as a loving wife, what you should do, you come to him that, honey, look at this situation, look at this. Always walk through together. Don't go and be labeling him like that. Don't go and be saying things that can hurt him. If you keep on doing that, that can only bring resentment, friction, division. The husband will withdraw and it will not good for your marriage. So those are the things that women do that can undermine your husband's authority and eventually will affect their feeling towards you. I advise as a woman, don't do that. Okay, but rather be submissive, listen to your husband because he is the head of the house. Another thing, habit that is common, very common among women that can have a negative impact in the marriage is never happy. They always never happy and not showing enough appreciation towards the husband. I explain. You see, not appreciating your husband enough is simply mean that you don't see the effort that he's doing to maintain the stability in the house. The husband may be working so hard. Everything that he does in the house to bring food in the table, to make money, to do things like that. As a wife, it is very important that you appreciate his effort. Appreciate the energy that he's doing to make sure that your house is okay. You must appreciate that. Any small thing that he does to make you happy, be content with that. Be happy with that. Appreciate him. Sometime when he come from work, he come from any place, sit down with him when he's eating or things like that. Say to him that I will really appreciate what you are doing. You are really taking care of the family. We can see me and my children. We are so happy. This and this and that. That gives him more energy to go and if to even do more for you. But when you are not appreciating, no matter what he does, never appreciate. Some women, they are so miserable. They are never happy. And he doesn't do anything. And he does this and this. And I don't even see the money. You are basically blaming him all the time. Nobody want to stay in that situation when it's every time just negative, negative. Try to appreciate. And another thing is try to work on yourself to be happy. Unhappiness, your husband can only do the best that he can, but it comes from your determination to make sure that you are happy. You see, it is your decision to be happy or not to be happy. Yes, don't only rely on your husband. He has been trying his best to make you happy. He has been trying his best to work hard, to bring things in the house, to work hard, to maintain peace in the house, to work hard for the children. Appreciate those small, small things that he's doing. As you appreciate them, it will give him a bigger platform to go even and do more. That husband of yours, he will do everything just to make you happy. When he sees that my wife appreciate the things that I'm doing, my wife appreciate the small gifts that I give to her, my wife appreciate the way I'm working, my wife appreciate everything. When you do that, you catch the heart of your husband. That your husband will love you so much. That your husband will do everything just to support you. So show more appreciation to your husband. Always try to bring happiness. Try to always be happy. Be happy with the small that you have in the house. When you are happy with the small you have in the house, it creates a better atmosphere for you to have a better talk that can bring things together. You can work together to prepare for better future, for better planning. You see? But if you are unhappy, it creates a negative atmosphere for talk, for conversation. So I advise women, and those are the habits that many women do. Unknown to them, they are only destroying their marriages. So as a loving woman, don't do that. Another thing also that women do, which is obvious, is although we are living in the society where husband and wife they work together to try to bring income in the house so that they can raise the standard of life of a living, which is very important. But remember, as a woman, you are first and foremost a wife. And if you have children, you are a mother. Okay, don't put all your time in the work. work over the marriage. No. Try, I know it's difficult, but try to create a balance between your work and your status as a wife and a mother. Just like you, your husband want more of you. He want to spend time with you. He want to see the wife is around him. But when you are spending more your time in your work, you have shift in the morning, shift at night, shift this and shift that. Your husband may not have too much to see you more in the house. You see, gradually, that it creating a distance between both of you. You're supposed to be close together. You're supposed to spend more time together. But when you are putting more your time in the work you are doing, other activities, it breaks that bond that you're supposed to be together. And that is a habit that some women do. And later on, they start blaming why their marriage collapsed. But because you are never there, because your husband does not see more of you. The children maybe they don't see more of their mom or things like that. I say to you, it is difficult, but learn to create a balance. Your marriage is very, very important because if the marriage is not standing, it will affect your work. It will affect everything that you do. It is both husband and wife, but because we are talking to women today, it's a habit that some women are. They privilege to work more about the marriage. They spend more time concerning the work rather than the marriage. So you must give time of a day to your husband so that the two of you will have more time for each other. You have time to talk together. You have time to appreciate one another. You have time for contact, intimacy, things like that. Very important. Because remember, sometimes you go to work, you come back, you are tired. So the husband wants you, he wants to spend time with you. I am tired, because you overwork yourself, you see. So therefore, creating a balance between your work and your marriage is very important. If care is not taken, you can lose your marriage and you have yourself to blame. Okay. Now, before finishing, we have another one I just want to ship in here is the big one. The big thing that you can do to destroy your marriage is what? Guess, infidelity in the marriage. Okay. Infidelity in the marriage is a killer. It applies to both husband and wife. But because we're talking to women, I want to stress this, madam, as you are listening to me. You see, don't try to compare yourself with a man. In the society, in everywhere, in any society, men are very different from women. Even in the Bible, for those of us who are believers, it's completely different. I'm not trying to say that men have a free license to do anything, but fact are fact. You see, even in the Bible, have you ever seen a woman marry two men or a woman marry three men? It does not exist. But even in the Bible, you see a man have two women, have two or three women, but never the opposite. A woman cannot have two or three men. No, a woman can only have one man. Now, Jesus always said that the man also only have one woman. But in the society, in the world, you can see that men can have two women married as long as they can take care of the women. Some men have two women, some men have three women. Even in America, is the people live like that. Yes, in Africa, in the Muslim country, everywhere. So the point I'm trying to make here is this: as a woman, don't try to compete with your husband. And fidelity to man is a killer. When a man knows that his wife having an affair with another man outside is the biggest blow to that man. You render your husband like he's useless, he's not a man. You destroy your husband's dignity of a man. That is it. It destroys his confidence as a man. He'll be asking himself a question: am I a man or not? So I was not being able to satisfy my wife in that department. How can my wife be go and having an affair outside with another man? You see, that would destroy your husband completely. It destroyed the dignity or the confidence of a man. So, and that is a killer for any marriage. Is a killer of any marriage. So infidelity is one of the biggest killer. I will advise you as a woman, think twice before you can engage in such adventure. Your husband is the word God has given to you. in any society that the norms, that society are made it that way. I don't know how I can explain it, but just remember that how the society are made it. But I say again, it's not a license to say that now a man can go and have two, three women. No, actually, no. As a believer, you should not do that. Even not even a believer, as yourself, it brings more trouble, more problem in yourself, in your health, rather than. So therefore, I'll advise, don't even go that way. And it becomes even more crucial for a woman to go and have such things outside the marriage is a killer. It can only destroy your marriage. It destroy the husband confidence. It can affect him very, very badly. It takes a man who really believe in God. It takes a man who's really who fear God, who can say, okay, I forgive my wife for what she have done. But otherwise, infidelity is a killer. It's a massive killer for any relationship. So because of time, we stop there today and I have more to share with you. We'll continue next time. So what did we discuss today? I say that there are habits that women do that can literally destroy their marriages. The first habit is when a woman is undermining the husband's authority, and it can demoralize your husband, like disrespecting his view, his opinion is a bad habit. Number two, undermining his authority, for instance, trying to stand up to him, taking decision without asking your husband, that destroy his authority. That's not good for your marriage. Another thing I say that you can demoralize your husband by not accepting your fault, always looking the fault at him, always putting everything on him. He may not talk, but that will hurt him. And that can be is not good for your marriage. And another thing we talk about is don't focus all your time on the marriage, on your work rather than your marriage. As a mother and a wife, try to stroke a balance between your work and your marriage. And the last thing we talk about is the bigger killer, which is infidelity in marriage, or what you call by cheating. So it's not good for a woman to do that. If you do that, you completely destroy everything. So this is all I wanted to share with you tonight, and I have some few more which we keep them for next week, but that will help at least for you to digest through them. As I say, the platform is to give advices. It's just to highlight the things that can affect our marriages. Now those things, my advice is you go through them, look at them, find them. If there's one thing that you have been doing, then it is good that these are things to highlight you, to look at them, say, oh, maybe I've been doing this thing, let me change, let me doing that. As you do that, you can only help your marriage. Okay, may the Lord bless you. So we stop here tonight and we'll continue again next week. Again, if there's something that you think is good for you, try to share it to your friend. Maybe your friend also can be blessed by listening to this thing. So for the now, have a good evening and we'll see you again next week. Bye bye.